Let's have a listen to old Melonhead talking about how the Gulf Arabs finance CNN, gay frogs.
Oh my God. Look at this right here. The guy that goes around policing and calling for censorship and then claims that Trump's wrong, there's no censorship of conservatives or patriots. You are incredibly shameful.
How are you doing, Alex?
You're just look at you. You are literally an anti-American, anti-free speech coward. You're going to go down the history books at the Criminal News Network. This is one of the main people right here who thinks you have no memory, who sits there and lobbies. Show him. That sits there and lobbies people to take other news off, claiming they're fake when CNN is the fakest WMD, Gulf Arab state dictatorship funded. Unbelievable. I mean, look at those eyes.
Gulf Arab dictators, he says. Isn't that what he said?
Gulf Arab state dictatorship funded.
Because I'm looking at it, the parent company for CNN is Warner Brothers. You look at WBD, and what do you get? Looks to me like David Zaslav is, not a Gulf Arab dictator. And then you look at the largest financer for CNN is T. Rowe Price. Here's their board of directors. They don't look like Gulf Arabs to me. And their CEO is Glenn August, a principal leading financer for the UJA, United Jewish Appeal. Huh. And where have we seen them before from Abba Hillel Silver? Huh. Wow, that just happens to go into Rabbi Herbert Friedman, the president of the Wexner Foundation of Les Wexner, the financial backbone for Jeffrey Epstein. Also Charles Bronfman and Edgar Bronfman, Jr. and Sr., who financed the NXIVM pedophile cult. And Epstein. Wow. It's never that far away, is it?
Everybody wants you to take sides. I'm on the Palestinian side or the Israeli side. I'm not involved in Israeli politics. I've been neutral in Israel because it's a politically correct subject that's just fraught with mental illness. I don't like the idiocy of people that are either for Israel or against Israel. So I've always tried to say I'm neutral. I understand that you're pro-Israel. I look at this completely neutral and cold. And again, I'm not for it or against it. I'm being a political atheist, just giving you the pieces right now. You can make your decision. We report, you decide, to steal the Fox maxim. Palestinians are kind of like the Californians of the Middle East. They're not even Californians. They're not even Palestinians. They're just people kicked out of all the other Arab nations to have run there to be part of a cause, part of a fight. Because most of the Palestinians were never in, quote, Palestine or where Israel now is, where Jerusalem is, predating Palestine, as it's been called for 1,000 years. Because this, ladies and gentlemen, is a Palestinian, which means basically a vagabond in the Middle East. You look at who's starting these rebellions and these attacks, it's Palestinians, because they don't even exist, folks. They're just people that migrated into that area and want to take it over. It's a made-up thing. Any Arab will tell you, or any Muslim will tell you, that Palestinians 24/7 are trying to take over your political process. And wherever they go, discord, terrorism starts. And then they're going to start even bigger wars. You'll never satisfy the so-called Palestinians. The Arab countries won't take one of them. What does that tell you? Because everywhere you take them in, they try to overthrow you. It's what they do. And you know what they do to holy sites? They blow each other's holy sites up. So you let unfettered Islamic takeover happen in Jerusalem, guaranteed within 1 year, Dome of the Rock, all of it is going to get blown sky high. Because that's especially what the Wahhabis do. And I'm not against the Muslims, but they've got 99% of the territory in the Middle East. They're always killing each other. And Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Egypt, none of those countries will take any of the Palestinians. They don't want them. They won't take one of them. And most of them are just Arabs that have gone into the area and want to be in Israel. And it's just like folks that want to get into the United States but hate the United States. Oh, and what are the folks doing? They're trying to knock down the fences and climb over. for an intifada. And you've got your nice mix of, suicide bombings going on. So it's tribal warfare. What do you think they're doing with Israel? Doesn't do it in 8 years. 20-something days out. We're now 20 days out. He says, oh, my gosh, you've got to merge. You've got to let all the Palestinians into Jerusalem. Oh, they'll just kill and overthrow immediately. And then now they're calling for an intifada. They're calling for an uprising in the Middle East, a war against Israel. Gee, who would have thought that would have happened? What would happen if the Jews pulled out of Israel today and left? Within a year, there'd be nothing but people murdering and killing each other and blowing each other up and fighting, because that's what the Middle East does. You don't build stuff, you don't develop things, you don't have a culture that's based on Renaissance. It's all based on conquest. And you'll just start saying, you're not as Shiite as I am, or you're not as Sunni as I am, and killing and blowing each other up in 5 minutes. That's all I'm saying, for God's sakes. And the Jews came in there and said, we're going to actually take this small area for us. And all I'm saying is that you got this tiny little place that's got buildings and factories and jet, airplanes and all the rest of it. And then everything around it is a bunch of squalor. And nobody else will take any of these people in. And it's just an excuse to point your finger all day long and say Israel's the problem if you fall on the damn banana peel. And I'm not here kissing the ass of Israel. I don't think Israel should keep expanding the settlements and all the rest of it. I think that should stop. But every time they get attacked, they expand again. And I kind of get that, where you push me, I'm going to get more aggressive. But it's just we've played all the politics too long here, okay? But what Trump's doing would mess up an Israeli deal to get that oil. Oh, sure, he's supporting settlements in some limited areas because Israel's growing. That's what Israel's doing. And Israel's under attack. And this two-state solution was always a fraud. Trump's just being honest about it. Israel's going to expand out to the edge of its borders. And if the Arabs are dumb enough to attack them again, they're going to expand past that. The globalists are going to overthrow everything. They're coming for everybody. And they're going to turn loose on us a bunch of Muslims that kill each other and can't live in peace and can't even wipe their asses, okay, with toilet paper. I'm sorry. It's true. Excuse me. I'm not trying to be like this, but I'm really angry right now. And so, again, all the BS you've heard on the internet, all the anti-Israel stuff, why do you wonder they try to beat you over the head everywhere from conservative angles, and why white supremacists hate me so much and always claim I work for Israel? Everybody says I work for Israel when I've been very, very fair on both sides of the issue. In fact, I was never even pro-Israel. I wasn't against Israel. But all the bullying and all the lies that I work for Israel, well, I am pro-Israel. And then I would just get bullied online and by leftist publications going, Jones hates Muslims. Jones is a racist. And it was actually their bullying trying to make me be anti-Israel that made me study it more and become pro-Israel. So good luck with all of that bullying that's gone on. Everybody's tried to bully me to attack Israel. They tried to bully me. No, I'm going to support Israel now more. Do I support Israel or don't I? And I've been very, very clear that I do support Israel. And I've been very, very clear that I do support Israel. And by the way, they make Zionists a dirty word. They make Zionists a dirty word. Do I support Israel or don't I? And I've been very, very clear that I do support Israel. And I've been very, very clear that I do support Israel. There's videos on YouTube that have been re-uploaded where I said that in 1997.
What I wanted to say is this. I want to say this out in the open. I support the Jewish state of Israel. They have been in that land. That is their land.
In fact, I was never even pro-Israel. I wasn't against Israel. But all the bullying and all the lies that I worked for Israel, well, I am pro-Israel.
I support the Jewish state of Israel. They have been in that land. That is their land. And it's the UN that has declared them terrorists. The UN has declared that Israel has been acting wrongly, and the UN supports groups that want to dissolve the state of Israel and make it a marginalized state where we know Jews will not be allowed to stay. The Arabs will run them out of there. I'm not anti-Arab.
Everybody wants you to take sides. I'm on the Palestinian side or the Israeli side. I'm not even on a side here. I'm just sitting here looking at Israel and just seeing online in the universities and the media just constantly bashing Israel. Now, everybody knows I'm pro-Israel. I think Netanyahu's a lot better than other folks over there. I think they have a right to be over there. It goes back to a fight between good and evil, and real evil is about to get turned loose on the planet. The devil's making his move, and everybody better decide which side you're on. So, it's called choosing a side. And there's big money behind being anti-Israel. What's wrong with Jews believing Israel has a right to a homeland when the Muslims want the whole world? The Muslims, my point is the Muslims say they're going to get the whole world. I mean, they're saying everything is theirs, and I'm supposed to just roll over and say, well, come cut my daughter's genitals off and throw gay people off buildings. I mean, I'm not going to put up with it. We'll be right back. Stay with us. So there's no going back. There's no discussion of this. We all know the truth now. And you either choose the side of liberty and freedom or you choose the side of the New World Order, allied with the stinking, filthy, third world, woman-raping, ass-wiping with their... I'm going to have to go off air, okay? No, there is a Jewish mafia at the heart of the New World Order. No, there is a Jewish mafia at the heart of the New World Order.
What Israel's doing, we know that the kings of blackmail, is that they're actually using their inside knowledge of Abramoff and a lot of other issues, just like Monica Lewinsky and Clinton. We know they were blackmailing them then. We know Israel's the king of blackmail. We know they blackmail Congress and the president all the time. We know Israel's the king of blackmail. We know Israel's the king of blackmail.
This is Alex Jones from Infowars.com. And if you come to the realization that I'm a lying, Sheldon Adelson Zionist stooge, tune in to No More News with Adam Green for reality.
A little montage from No More News and Adam Green. I can see I'm going to have to republish my Alex Jones to the Woodshed videos. Now, I agree with his returning to Twitter or X or whatever. I believe in free speech, and I have beef with Twitter, X, YouTube, and all these platforms for violation of contract law. Any other business, if they fired you over nothing, you could go to a third party for arbitration. You could go to a court and say, hey, they fired me because of blah, 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 for political reasons, whatever. They didn't like my politics, so they got rid of me. That's what Twitter, YouTube, and all these things are doing. They say, hate speech or some pretext that's in the written agreement. But hate speech constitutes, according to what they actually wrote down, advocating violence for said group A, B, C, or D. But people are being removed who do not advocate violence. They're just, sometimes it's the exact opposite. They're advocating that violence should be stopped. Like if you say Palestinians are people too, you can be removed. If you don't want if you talk about great replacement or something, you can be removed. That constitutes racism or something. No, what they do is they police themselves. They say, it went to the Trust and Safety Board, and, we decided we did no wrong. And so they can remove whoever they want. Just say hate speech. They're the arbiter. You don't get to go to a court. You don't get to go to a third party. Even though legally you're supposed to have arbitration, you don't let the company police itself. But with social media, we do. So that's already going against contract law and the way things are supposed to be arbitrated. And then, of course, we're supposed to have free speech, and they claim they believe in that. So every time they get rid of somebody, they at least have to pretend like you violated one of the rules. Advocated violence, defamation, copyright violations, something like that. But more often than not, and then when they want to get rid of political speech, it's not because you broke copyright law. It's not because you engaged in defamation. It's just because you said things they don't like. And so, where's the wiggle room? Just call it hate speech. Even though hate speech is defined by advocating violence, that doesn't matter, because the Trust and Safety Board decides what's hate speech and what isn't, and they don't have to prove to anybody that you advocated violence, because they are the judge, jury, and executioner. That is why we should be allowed to do our own arbitration in a court rather than having the Trust and Safety Board decide whether or not you violated hate speech. If they're going to remove you and you are an employee, because YouTube is a partnership program, and Twitter now, if you're through the monetization process, you're now a partner, you're employed, so they are firing you. You're supposed to have workers' rights, and you're supposed to have third-party arbitration for contract law. We don't. That said, that's why Alex Jones should be allowed on Twitter. So should many other people who have been banned over nothing. I was one of those people for many years. I did not break any of the rules. They got rid of me because I oppose Zionism. Alex Jones supports Donald Trump, and that's why they got rid of Alex Jones. There is no other reason. As for laws he violated, well, he was sued by victims of Sandy Hook for being a school shooter denialist. I don't think that's illegal, but what it did, it was irresponsible because his fan base went and harassed these people constantly, saying it was crisis actors and that they were faking and their kids weren't dead. It was horrible, but you know what? He had to pay the money. That's a separate thing. It has nothing to do with his social media. I bet he'll be more careful about that kind of thing again. As for claiming HARP's an earthquake machine and there's RFID chips in your dollar bills and all the other crazy stuff he's come up with, that isn't illegal. It's stupid, but it's not illegal, and it's entertaining, and a lot of people like it, and if they want to follow him, they should be allowed to. However, my beef with Alex Jones is not the gay frogs or any of that stuff. We have a gay frog mascot. I think it's hilarious. My beef with Alex Jones is September 11th. Because he acts as a giant dragnet to get anybody that's questioning the government story and just whoop, and divert them into La La Land, where everything's covered in crazy sauce, where he denies a plane hit the Pentagon, or he's neutral on it, he's agnostic about it. He's promoted every charlatan from Fetzer to Loose Change, every moron that has some kook 9/11 theory goes to Alex Jones, obsessed with Building 7 and nothing else, and not going to tell you who, when we know he knows who. And when Trump was on his show and they talked about, they should have been talking about the dancing Israelis, they decided, nah, it was a bunch of Arabs that did it. The dancing Middle Easterners. Now, did Alex correct Trump when he said that? Hell no. And I know, and you know, that Alex knows it was Israelis celebrating 9/11. He said so on 9/12. He was very clearly, this is a Zionist plot, da-da-da-da-da. Somebody got him compromised. He did end up marrying his masseuse, so.
Working with Israel to oppress the people of the planet. Israel loves it. That Nazi Sharon has invaded the West Bank. They're slaughtering innocent people. And I'm sick of worshiping Israel. Did you know back in the 1960s they bombed the USS Liberty knowing it was one of our ships because it caught the radio chatter of them killing thousands of Palestinian children? And Israel absolutely is beside itself with joy right now. They are talking about how they're going to blow everything up, how they're going to attack everybody, and guess who's going to get bombed because of it? I have been supportive of Israel for many years. When I find out what they do, shooting little Palestinian children in the genitalia and laughing, it's on video. Little 10-year-olds walk around throwing rocks at tanks. A guy sits off a half mile away and blows their testicles off. They call them goyim. They call them dogs.
I would use Moab carpet bombing in lanes and basically just destroy it inch by inch, driving down 200 feet, taking out those tunnels. They just have to simply make everybody evacuate and then level at least northern Gaza. That's the only way to do this.
Hey.
Alex Jones is a limited hangout. He's funny. You know, he's against illegal immigration. He's pro-gun. He has some good positions. He also has some crazy, especially when it comes to the Middle East question. You saw all the things he said about Palestinians. He is balls deep on the Israelis. He acts like he isn't. He says, I'm just against the globalist MI6, CIA, Chile. Excuse me. No. He is there to divert you. Anybody that starts moving away from TV and the government and, you know, taking that red pill, He's there to swerve you onto a different wrong path where you're chasing around black helicopters and the Bavarian death cult Illuminati, globalists, NWO, something, anybody but the Zionists that are actually in charge. He wants you chasing your tail. And that's Alex Jones's job, to get you running in circles like a dog chasing its tail while everything flies over your head. Is he a paid asset or just a loon? It doesn't matter. The results are the same. There's no reason to listen to him about anything serious. If you just want to laugh and be entertained, hey, he's funny. He's definitely entertaining. Fine. But just admit that it's a character. It's like watching pro wrestling. It's great. But do not rely on that for geopolitical news.
Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction.